Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome back to your online class. And how was your long holiday everyone? And now welcome back to the August 24th, okay? In the first section today, you are going to study the blueprint 6, okay? On page 56 and we are going to study the new lesson 3 under the sea, okay? Before teacher moving to our lesson today, so what did you study last week, everyone? Okay, so last week, you have learned the grammar such as like active voice and passive voice, and then you have learned about the participial phrases, meaning a participle like plus with other words. Okay, so participle we have two present participle and past participle. Present participle mean the verb that add ing and function as adjective of to modify to the noun or modify to the subject of the sentence. And the past participle can be the verb that end with ed or the verb like irregular. Example like to like write, wrote, written. Okay, and like begin, began, began. So began. This is the past participle, right? Okay, so without further ado, teacher would like you to move to our lesson today. Under the sea. Okay. So before you go deeply to the lesson, teacher would like you to see the aim of the lesson that you are going to learn. In unit 3, you are able to talk about the ocean of the earth, and you are going to like able to describe how people learn more about the ocean. So in this lesson also, the target vocabulary that you are going to study, we have like the word incredibly, like substitute, gather, ecologically, like satellite, exactly, well, volcano, surface, and observation, right? And the last of all about the grammar, you are going to study the infinitives, okay? So what the infinitive can be like to infinitive, okay? Like I want to go. If one want to go, so to go. This is the to infinitive, or you say like I like to play, okay? So to play we call to infinitive. So what are the linkage between to infinitive to participle? When to use participle and when to use infinitive. So you are going to be clear in this lesson, everyone. Okay, so before moving to our content today, teacher would like you to answer these two questions. So the first question, what do you know about the ship RMS Titanic? Okay, and number two, have you ever gone swimming, like snorkeling or diving in the ocean? Would you like it too? To respond to the first question, teacher would like you to see, here, history of the Titanics. Okay. You can see more information in the Wikipedia. Yep, you can go there. Like this is the main brief, history of the Titanics. Okay. So as you can see here, this is belong to the White Star Line company. It is in the in England. Okay, by the story that we are going to talk here, it's saying, okay, in the North Atlantic Ocean. So what time is it, everyone? It in the early morning, of the 15 April 1912. So what happened if what happened by why the ship sank into the ocean because of it strike with the iceberg, right, during the maiden voyage from the Southampton to the New York City. So anyway, you will see like some information here. mm, okay. So this is, you see the fate here, you see the reason like hit an iceberg, at 11 and 40 p.m. ship time for 14 April. Okay. This is just the history of the why Titanic, sank into the ocean. Okay, so we can go back to our lesson today, everyone. So, okay. What about the question number 2? Have you ever gone swimming, snorkeling, or diving in the ocean? Would you like it too? Okay, so to me, I have, you know, gone to, have I have ever been to the like swimming in the sea or in the ocean, but no snorkeling, no diving at all. Just swimming is normal, and I like it a lot. Really enjoy. Okay. Um. Okay, so we can move to the next next part. We go to part B. Okay. So in this part B, you are going to listen to the track 16, and then you are going to respond 6 question. Okay. So the first question there is here like what are the speaker mainly talking about? So you can take note. And the question number 2, which of the following features of the ocean floor does the speaker not mention? Okay. Number 3, why does the professor say this? That not a bad guess. Okay. And number 4, how was the Titanic discovered? Okay. And number 5, when was the Titanic found? Okay. Number 6, what is stated about Mariana Trench? Okay. So you have to listen carefully in order to answer these 6 question. Okay. So are you ready, everyone? Please start.
Track 16.
As you know, the oceans cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface. The oceans have a huge influence on the climate and on all life on Earth. Also, the ocean floor has the same characteristics as the rest of the Earth's surface: mountains, volcanoes, and so on. And of course, the ocean is incredibly complex ecologically. Can anyone guess how much of the ocean has been explored directly by people?
Maybe 50%?
That's not a bad guess, but the real answer is only about 5%. Weird, right? Why? Well, to explore the sea is not an easy task. In fact, these days we study it mostly from a distance. For example, satellites orbiting the Earth send sound waves through the ocean, and we gather useful data that way. We also send robots down to the ocean floor. What do you think are the advantages of using robots?
Going deep underwater is dangerous. It's easier for robots to stay down there for a long time. That's how the ship Titanic was discovered, by an underwater robot.
Exactly. The RMS Titanic was found at the bottom of the Atlantic by a robot in 1985, more than 70 years after it sank. So, using machines to explore the sea can be very useful. Does anyone see any problems with it, though?
Yeah, the same problem as with unmanned space travel. You can't expect robots to be as smart as humans. People are better at scientific observation than robots.
Right. Machines aren't perfect substitutes for human beings. That's why researchers are still working on vehicles for people. In fact, 3 people have gone to the deepest part of the ocean floor, the Mariana Trench in the western Pacific. It's almost 11 kilometers below the surface. One of those 3 people, by the way, was James Cameron, the director of the movie Titanic.
Okay, so now we move to our question. So, can you answer the first question, everyone? What are the speakers mainly talking about? Okay, and go to question number 6. So let's check the answer. So the question number 1: A. How the ocean affect the climate. B. How the deep sea is explored. And C. How underwater vehicle work. Okay. And number 2: which of the following features of the ocean floor does the speaker not mention? So A. Valleys. B. Volcanoes. C. Mountain. 3. Why does the professor say that's not a bad guess? To confirm that the student's answer was right. B. To say that the student's answer was reasonable. And C. To encourage the student to guess again. Number 4: how was the Titanic discovered? A. By an underwater robot. Okay. B. By a person in a submarine. And C. By sound wave from a satellite. Okay, so number 5: when was the Titanic found? 7 years after it sank. 17 years after it sank. And 70 years after it sank. So number 6: what is stated about Mariana Trench? So A. It is 11 kilometers long. B. It is in the Atlantic Ocean. And C. It is the deepest part of the ocean floor. So can you check the answer, everyone? Okay, so the answer for the question number 1, letter B, because they just talk about how the deep sea is explored. And number 2, they did not mention Wally, right? So A. And number 3, the professor say that's not a bad guess. So to confirm that, or to say that the student answer was reasonable, but it is not right. Number 4, how was Titanic discovered? The right answer is letter A, by an underwater robot. Okay. Number 5, letter C, 70 years after it sank. And number 6, letter C, it is the deepest part of the ocean floor. Okay, so now we move to the vocabulary, everyone. So you are going to study the word like incredibly, like substitute, gather, ecologically, and exactly, right? So before moving that, teacher would like you to see the definition from the Cambridge Dictionary here. So the first of all, you see like the word like incredibly. Okay, you can also listen to. Okay.
Incredibly.
Incredibly.
Incredibly, right? So when you say thing is incredibly, I mean you use for saying that something is very difficult to believe, right? The example here, you see like we missed our flight, but incredibly got there on time. Okay, and you can move to the next word that you are going to study, the word substitute. Okay, substitute. Come on.
Substitute.
Okay, substitute. You see letter T here, not substitute, okay, not shoot, okay, substitute,
Substitute.
okay, and it is used to, to use like some things or someone instead of another thing or like person. So you can use another word like replace, okay, replace. And the next word the word like gather, right?
Gather. Gather.
So to gather something means to collect several things, often from the different places or people. To gather, to collect. Okay. Number 4, you are going to study the ecologically one.
Ecologically.
Okay. So in a way that relate to ecology or the environment. Okay. And the last one, exactly. When you express something like exactly, it comes from the word exact, right? Exact. And adverb to exactly, okay? So exactly means to use when you are giving or asking for information that is completely correct, okay? So moving back to our slide, everyone. Okay, we also have the definition as well. So A, related, to the environment or ecosystem, and B, to collect many things from different, places or people. Or see someone or something that is used to, instead of another person or thing. And D, you to say that you are agree, completely with someone. And letter E, extremely, okay? So what are you going to match, everyone? So incredibly mean letter E, extremely, okay? Extremely. Number 2, substitute. Letter C, someone or something that is used instead of another person or thing. And number 3, gather. To gather something means to collect, okay? So letter B. And number 4, ecologically. Letter A, relating to an environment or an ecosystem, right? And the last one, exactly. Exactly, D, used to say that you agree completely with someone. Okay, so everyone, brief again before we end up our first section today. So you have learned here, listen to the report about the Titanic and why the scientists work to discover things in the ocean, and how do they implement use material to to explore things that they have been lost before. Example like Titanic, it found after 70 years, okay, after 70 years after it sank into the ocean. So it takes time, right? And they use the robot for help, not the people go there directly. And the last one, you have learned about the 5 vocabulary. Again, the one, incredibly, substitute, gather, ecologically, and number 5, exactly. Okay, so now it come to the end of your first section today, everyone, and see you again in the second section.